Hello everybody, Iain Robson here, and welcome to our edition of Texas. Alright, what is going on today? First of all, I figured out what the problem was with the Massey Ferguson. If you recall, remember how it was, I don't know, if I hire a worker, can I do that? No. If I set it up, let me just say like, it was based on the Bureau, which is this guy right here. It's based on this. So when you hire the worker, it'll show it. It's this right here. Now the problem with that is the person who I guess made the mod also took these numbers essentially. So it took the max power. So it wasn't set up to. It was set up as if it were a 135 horsepower tractor as opposed to a 260 horsepower tractor like where is it? The Dutes right here. So it was set up as a 135 as opposed to a 263 horsepower tractor. So what I did is I went into the XML file for the motor, and basically what I did is I used the same motor settings that the Duke 7750 has. Was it 7750? 7250. I used the same motor settings as this, and now, as you can see, we can bale, which is pretty awesome. So, the max speed is a little bit, I think it's a bit changed a little bit, nothing too crazy, but it's changed enough. So, that's something to take into consideration. That was just because whoops. That was because, let me get that back. That was because the motor settings were as if there was a 135 horsepower tractor, so that was the reason why it wasn't able to use this particular implement. But as you can see, now that I've adjusted the settings, it is able to use this without a problem. Now originally I had it set so it was as if it were a T8, which is a little bit too powerful because that's like a 320 horsepower tractor. So I changed it just so it was not a 320 horsepower tractor, but a 260 horsepower. So it should, technically, or theoretically I should say, be able to do all the things it would need to do with 260 horsepower. So yeah, the engine settings were basically as if it was 135 horsepower. Pretty silly if you ask me. It was a really easy change in the end. I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult. But after examining the two, after comparing, I should say, the two different motor settings, I realized it was just an easy fix because there's nothing else that really. It says like the way it seems to work is it only says that it's X number of horsepower, but really it's broken down into like separate numbers. So it's like this number is for. Let me give an example. This is a 260 horsepower tractor, and let's say 260 horsepower is represented by 1, for example. That's how it kind of works. It's not. It doesn't break down like, okay, this is 260 horsepower, so all you do is put the number in there. There's a little bit more calculation to it, just based on the way the XML file works. But anyways, that's probably a little bit too technical for most people. Anyways, having said all that, it works now. A simpler fix than I was expecting, which I'm really happy about. Took me less than 5 minutes. All you need to do is compare the two settings and go from there, basically. So, anyways, let's go check out this guy right here. He has stopped. Where's the best place for corn? We did not check that out. Corn, freight yard, grain elevator, shipping office. Is the shipping office down here too? It looks like it is. I don't know where the shipping office is. It looks like it's the one in the back corner. I don't know why the author of this map decided to do it like this. It makes tracking really easy, but on the same note, it makes looking at the map really difficult. I think this is the shipping office. Oh well, whatever. I'm not the expert. I don't create maps. I only adjust and tweak things. There we go. Perfect. That'll give us a little bit extra money. It's funny, the way this thing has to work is it has to like dump all the way. There we go. Should pick up that point there. Excellent. It should have headed on its way back. Good. So yeah, a really easy change. Really pleased that it was just a simple change. So now the tractor acts a bit different just because of the change itself. So, which is to be expected, of course, right? So. Oh, I think the new GPS mod seems to have changed now. It used to be it would stop at the end of the tractor. Now it seems to stop at the end of the implement. I don't know if that was an intended change or not, but I really like it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because it used to be, what would happen is you would, it would stop where the end of the tractor was, like at the top of the tractor. But now it's changed a little bit, which is cool. Though 20 kilometers does seem a bit quick. And I remember I had a conversation once about whether, what the heck happened there? Whether balers have like a dual axle or single axle. And that is that is the deal breaker in terms of how fast you can go. Because from what I understand, I'm not an expert, but from what I understand, when you have a single axle baler, what tends to happen is you tend to run into situations where it bounces a lot, apparently. That's one of the situations. So, because it bounces a lot, with a single axle as opposed to a double axle, there's only so fast you can go where it becomes somewhat unsafe. Whereas, when you have a dual axle, it smooths the ground out a little bit better, so you're able to go a bit faster with the dual axle. Now, I'm not sure if that's probably not the only factor. I know it's not the only factor, but it's definitely one of the factors in relation to how fast you can go. Whoa, we're using a lot more fuel now. Oh, you know what it probably was? I probably didn't use a lot more fuel. I also changed the fuel settings as well. Because I wanted it to use... Because it was set as if it were a... how do you want to say that? So it was using that much fuel as well, as opposed to a fuel associated with a tractor of this size. Oh yeah, getting everything good. As opposed to a tractor of this size, so I changed it. I also adjusted how much is in the tank, I think, as well. But I might have to change that again just because I set it for the incorrect tractor. So if I set it to the Dutes, which is right here, it doesn't have that information in there. That's annoying. But it has like a certain amount of usage based on how much horsepower it is, and certain tank size as well based on the horsepower. So I may adjust it. I think I adjusted it so I had like 400 liters, something like that, which I don't know if that's true or not. I would honestly have to check to see how many liters the engine actually, or the tank actually held, because I'm not sure. I'm sure I could find that out in tractor data, actually. I don't know. See, the problem is sometimes when you want to play as realistic as possible, or to as much realism as you want, I should say, you run into situations where it doesn't always work out, because we're actually using quite a bit of fuel. This is more like what it used to be like, where you would use a lot of fuel. Like I've used 2 liters already, which before in the standard vehicles you can go like all day long without having to refill, but this is a lot more usage. So let's stop here for a second, hop over to this guy. Wheat, barley, canola, corn. Oh, it's all empty. Well then, we shall just turn you off right here then for the time being, because we don't need anything else. I thought we had... Oh, I know we have potatoes and sugar beets. Where's a good place to sell those? Potatoes, shipping office. Okay, well, we can do that then. What we'll do is we'll just use the same course because shipping office is in the same area. So like I said initially, having them all in the same area is nice because it makes... I only really need to record one course basically. But on the same note, it means you're always going to the same place. C'est la vie. Alright, now we have 8,000 liters of this. Let's drive course and see where he ends up. It's going to turn around, which is fine. I like, it's kind of interesting how you can set it up so, I don't know where the actual function is, but is it here? Yeah, it's here. It's funny that you can set it up so it's always activated or never activated with 4-wheel drive and whatnot. This truck doesn't have four-wheel drive. It's just rear-wheel driven. So I'm just gonna leave it off for the time being. And you can just drive now. So it's kind of interesting. Also, I just thought about this before. You see the little teeth in there that kind of go in and go out? Someone pointed out a person on YouTube called Elderly Iron. And he did like a cool little series about baling, but it was like with old school tractors and old school equipment. And he talked about that. It was really cool. Yeah, we're using a lot of fuel though. Jeez. It was really cool. So if you're interested in that, check out Elderly Iron on YouTube. If you really want to know, or if you really want to, if you want me to point you in the specific direction, leave a comment below with asking me to point you in the right direction. But if you search for Elderly Iron, you should be able to find him relatively easily. He's an older guy, well, older than I am at least, but he does a lot of cool stuff. He actually, it's a flying trailer. He actually does he works mostly with trucks, and he does renovations, I guess. No, it's not the word I'm looking for. Restorations, there we go. He does like restorations of vehicles and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Does giveaways every now and then as well. So, yeah, check out his channel. He did like, I think it's called, what was it called? Hay Follies. That's what it was. It was his Hay Follies series. So if you like old school tractors and old school haying and whatnot, definitely check that little series out. Also, if you like restoration of cars and whatnot, and trucks, I think he does trucks specifically, check out his channel. It's pretty cool. Pretty darn cool stuff. Alright, nice. So, as I mentioned before, I was considering doing 2 series at the same time, like alternate between one map and then the next map sort of idea. So like having one day will be region of Texas, another day something else. If that's something you would like to see. So for example, one American map, one European map, something like that. If that's something you'd like to see, leave me a comment below saying, yeah, that's something I'd definitely like to see, or no, only do region of Texas or something, I don't know. But something along those lines, just let me know in the comments, because feedback is always appreciated. But I've only seen a few maps out there that really intrigue me at this particular stage. The Maho community on New Zealand looks nice, but I didn't like the ditches personally. But apparently that's the way it is, I guess. There's always Drayton Farm, which is just an enormous farm, which is a nice yard, but it is really British, of course. I know some people would like me to play on that one, but you'd end up getting a lot of episodes of harvesting, just because the fields are quite large. Although with course play now, I don't know. Could be interesting. Could be. Ah, he's reached his waiting point. That's perfect timing then. Alright. I believe it said the shipping office for... These are potatoes. Potatoes at the shipping office, yes. It's funny, this is the price I would normally get for like wheat or straw or something. Or not wheat or straw. Wheat or barley is $400 a ton. Alright. Now, this is going to be interesting, because I don't know how this is... I haven't tried the tipping, the adjustment on this trailer with the tipping that I did. I've only ever tried it with grains, so I don't know if this is going to work the same way. But we're going to find out in a second. It should be fine. And the survey says... nada. I wondered about that. Okay. Fine. Be that way. I'm not too worried about that. I very rarely actually harvest potatoes or sugar beets anyways, so... no skin off my back. Alright. Perfect. How many bales? There's no bale counter on here, is there? No. It thinks this GPS course is cut grass. Oh, that's funny. I'm looking for statistics, and I'm looking for 58 bales already. Oh, that's quite a lot. That's more than I thought, actually. I guess we're not going to need a whole lot of bales after. We could probably have to do this once, and that's it. And then we'll never need to do it again. based on the way we're going right now, at least. That's funny. We don't have too much to go, too much further to go, basically, because we're going to stop probably right where that seed area is left, because there's no straw after that, basically, anyways. So we are making quite a few bales. So remember we have the CR1090. So because it is such a huge header, we're actually picking up 45 feet worth of straw, which is the reason why we're pumping out so many bales at once. Understandably so. There we go. Understandably so. Nice. I was reading about an interesting article about a dairy farm who decided to put a processing facility on his property. And because he decided to put a processing facility on his property, what happened was he got charged with an extra tax, or he got taxed as an industrial piece of property as opposed to an agricultural piece of property. Now, in the article, the guy said that he was basically forced into this situation due to economy and whatnot. He was basically forced into having to do his own processing on the farm because it's not feasible otherwise, which I thought was kind of interesting. Let's turn around here for a second. Because it's not as feasible without doing it that way. So I thought that was kind of interesting, that the fact that he mentioned that specifically, and that's the reason why he did this. So now he has a processing facility on his farm. So he has, like, he processes milk, yogurt, no, not milk. Yeah, milk, skim milk, regular milk, 1%, 2% on his farm. And because he does the processing on his farm, it's considered industrial as opposed to agricultural. So he got slammed with like a 20 grand tax. He had to pay like 20 grand worth of taxes or something on that piece of property because it's considered industrial as opposed to agricultural. And what the guy was arguing was he wanted to have a special exemption because it's agricultural related as opposed to like having a business and whatnot sort of thing. Well, as opposed to something else. So there needs to be some sort of exception. Now the funny thing is, apparently there are some exceptions for other things, but for his situation specifically, there didn't appear to be, which is kind of silly if you ask me, but I'm not an expert in law, not by a long shot, so yeah, I just thought that was kind of crazy, the fact that he got slammed with that huge tax. This seems awfully quick to bale. I don't know. Oops. Let's hop into our truck again here. Stop. Let's grab some sugar beets, which I think go to the same place actually. Sugar beets. Freight. Oh no, they go to the freight yard or the shipping office. Doesn't make a difference. Why even bother putting the freight yard if you're never going to go there? Jeez. Oh, I guess if there's a great demand, but now I don't think this trailer will take wood chips. That's the one downfall. I guess I could add it. Not difficult to add. Where is he gonna pick up the trail? Actually, I should be able to do start and end without crossing. Show all. Yeah, I can do it that way too. Alright. He's gonna stop here and be like, there's nothing to fill up, or I can't fill up this. Drive now. Perfect. Let's continue on our way here. Yeah, some interesting things going on. I don't know. Someone asked me the other day how I got into modding, and well, I don't really mod per se. I would call me what I do tinkering, I guess would be closer to what I would call it, because I know how to adjust some small things on mods, but like if I want to change the look of a mod, still haven't got into that yet. Like that's where you have to get into like things like Blender and stuff like that, which is a 3D modeling. There we go. A 3D modeling program. And I've checked out Blender before, but I haven't done a lot on it yet, so I don't know how to use it very well. Anyhow, so because the reason why I kind of got started in tinkering with different mods is because things didn't work the way I wanted it to. So for example, that trailer didn't have the particle effect, and that kind of bothered me enough to go out of my way to fix it. Once I figured out what the problem was, it wasn't terribly difficult, but you have to have a lot of patience and you have to be able to do a little bit of reasoning, because the way I've solved some of my problems thus far has been basically comparing the in-game equipment to the equipment I have. So for example, this mod, I compared what I saw in the motor file to a vehicle that's supposed to have 260 horsepower. So that's basically what I did, and just because of that, I figured out what the problem was. Because like I said before, there's no like, this tractor has 260 horsepower. It doesn't work that way. There's some other weird calculations, it seems like. It's not just you put the number, how much horsepower it is, and it does all the calculations for you. So, and it's just like a single line of like maybe a 1 line or 2 lines of code that really adjusts the how much horsepower the tractor has, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, we're just like pumping out these bales. This is crazy. Almost done. We've got what, 3 passes left. Should be able to finish that up soon. Hope we don't get in the way of the truck there. I wasn't sure if I was going to drop that there or not. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know, but that's how I kind of got the mod. It's just basically things that didn't work properly, like this tractor not functioning at its proper horsepower was really annoying. Like if people have picked up this mod and tried it out and been like, hey, this mod's supposed to have X number of horsepower, and it doesn't. So like if you wanted to use a 260 horsepower tractor with a New Holland baler that's only supposed to need 120 horsepower and it doesn't work, that's kind of annoying. Technically it should have, though, still, because this not the slurry tanker, but the baler only requires 120 horsepower, and if it's based off of this guy right here, this has 135 horsepower, so it technically should have worked anyways, but that horsepower difference is very minimal. What should have happened is it would work, just very slowly. That's what I think should have happened, but whatever. What do I know? He's reached his waiting point, and we have reached the end of the field. So stop. Man, the GPS mod's cool. Stop the driver here for a second. I believe I said the shipping office. The texture on these things don't look as cool, but I'm hoping that someone brings out a better trailer than this. But for the time being, this is the go-to trailer. Ugh, I missed that turn. Oh well. What I may actually do is I may actually change these tires out. I'm considering doing that. Yeah, that probably doesn't work either. Yeah, I didn't think so. Oh well. I'm considering changing these tires out as well to maybe something like this, but those don't look. Anyways, that's one of the other things I'm considering doing. I haven't done it yet, obviously, but it should pick up that point there. It does. Excellent. But that's the nice thing about Courseplay, is that you can do other things while you are doing stuff like this. So if I didn't have Courseplay now, I would have to do the driving myself, and I couldn't bail and drive at the same time. But with Courseplay, of course you can, which is nice. Now, this is, of course, I have the developer version of Courseplay. It's not stable, so I am fully expecting things to crash. And having said that, let's go ahead and save the game. Because I don't want to have to deal. One of the worst things is bales. If you have to deal with bales all over again, it's really, really annoying. Because like if your vehicles get reset, your bales are also in the vehicle file, which is really annoying. Does that still? Doesn't appear to be any new modes yet for Courseplay. I guess this is the combine goes to the trailer and drops off. I'm still not sure how to use that. I never really found a use for that for my particular style of play. But I'm sure there's other people out there who like that a lot. But I've never really found like I said, not a big use for it. How many bales do we have now? Holy smokes. Oops. How many bales does this thing hold? Oh, it's going to be a lot of trips. It's going to be like 10, not 10 trips, but oh, it'll be close. Alright. last pass. I just, as you can see, I just left the cedar there just because I was annoyed. Well, not annoyed, but I was testing out to make sure this thing worked properly, and that's why I just dropped it there. And I wanted this straw, so now we have all this extra straw. Now I don't have to buy another tractor, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and get, not a telehandle, feeding technology. Let's go ahead and get this guy. This is from FS 2013 that it was converted. This is from LS. No, it was originally from Lux, but I think that's supposed to be French BD LS modding. I don't know, but we'll get that so we can actually do something with our bales. But we need a front loader now too. Ooh, that might help. I don't think I have any front loaders, or do I? No. Do any of these have front loader capabilities? I think this guy does. Yes, he does. Maybe I will. I don't know if this car actually comes with the arms as well, or if you just use the in-game ones. I can only assume you use the in-game ones. Front loaders. I'm guessing you just use these and they work. But that's going to be another... We could actually sell some of these bales too, now that I think about it. I don't know how much you get for them, but we really don't need 120 some odd bales for 10 cows. I don't think. Well, maybe if we were going for further, maybe if it was like we had to keep the cows good for the winter, maybe. I don't know why you have to turn off the baler to unload it, but you do. There we go. Fold that guy up, lift the pickup, turn off the GPS mod. Excellent. Nice. Now I just need to go ahead and pick up some bales. So let's put our baler away. So as you can see, this tractor goes I think it goes a little bit quicker now. I don't know how much quicker it goes now as opposed to before. I don't know if it slides more or anything. Does it slide? No, it's not too bad actually. That's one thing. The steering and the sliding is really annoying. But it seems to have gotten better with the new patch, which is good. Oh, there's our semi coming in. I'm actually delightfully surprised. Oof, that was close. I was concerned that there were going to be problems with Courseplay running, because that's a modded truck and a modded trailer, and I was concerned that we were going to run into problems with those two combined, but as of right now, it seems to be okay. And that, man, that windshield wiper right there is really annoying. Alright, let's park this up here. There we go. Perfect. And that's the wrong key, Ian. Let's grab this key right here, and we will reset that vehicle, or I mean, have it delivered. And that truck's going to stop at the loading point, saying there's nothing to pick up. There we go. Farm silo is empty. You don't say. And this should be fine for this as well. Perfect. Alright, so I think what I'll do is I'll pick up maybe one load of bales, and then I'll do the rest off camera, just because I don't know if you really want to see me pick up a whole whack of bales. Alright. And we're going to try and sell the first load, I think. And I should really enable consoles just so I can see trigger points and whatnot. Alright, let's grab this bale. And I think what we'll do is do 2 rows at a time. Shouldn't take too long to get 16 bales. Although I'm not sure how much more effective it is going like this, because you're swerving. Luckily it doesn't really make a big difference to this auto stacker, but in real life you probably would have to line up a lot better than I am. Like, you'd have to be like that every single time. And I'm pretty sure if you were doing this in your field, you would tear up your field. Like with that kind of hard turn like that all the time. Just guessing. There we go. That's 8. But I am happy I fixed this tractor. That would have been really annoying had I not been able to fix that. Although I do need to change the fuel, I think, because it seems like it's used a lot of fuel. So I'm pretty sure a tractor can go for quite a long time before it needs to be refueled. I think it actually might be faster if I go straight. Although, I don't think the stacker's going to be fast enough. Because the bales are pretty close together. So because it's like a 45-foot wide header, they're pretty close together. So it makes things like doing this not too bad because the space in between them is pretty slim. So we need 2 more. So here's 1. And here's 2. Well, that definitely... Ooh. Definitely feels heavier now. That's interesting. Definitely feels heavier on this tractor. So like now it doesn't... It's not as perky, like in the sense of like how... Or peppy, I guess would be the better word. So now... I want to slow down. I definitely need to pump the brakes a lot more. That's interesting. Cool. Alright, let's sell this first load because we really don't need this many bales for 10 cows. And it'll make us a little bit of extra money, so we'll get that front loader, hopefully. I don't know if this is meant for this, but we're going to try it anyways. So it's O. Oh, good, there's no collision there. That would have been devastating. I wonder if this is actually... It's a sell point, but I don't know if it's actually meant to work like this with these bales, but we're going to find out. I get a... Yeah, I wondered about that. Alright, that seems like a good place as any. Oh, perfect. That worked out better than I thought it was going to. Awesome. I don't even know where the cows are. Oh, the cows are right here. Perfect. Alright, folks, that'll be it for today. My name's Iain. Robson has been Farming Simulator 2015, coming at you from Texas. Catch you guys later.